I think we are indeed broadcasting. A very warm welcome to SEM Mondays Live, my, God willing, weekly live show here on YouTube. And it is truly a joy to have the opportunity to connect with you right here today. I've really been looking forward to our time together today. And I hope you saw my posts on our Facebook group and our Facebook page, emails that I've sent out last couple of days. Yesterday was National Relaxation Day, which before last year, I didn't even know we had a National Relaxation Day. And just like we should have National Relaxation Day every day these days. It seems like things are at a ridiculous level of stress and just seems to be continuing to build. So all of the announcements were to let you know, first and foremost, really to share a resource with you to help you on your healing journey. I met Carl Bartlett Jr. about a year and a half ago and have had the true honor of becoming friends with him over the last year and a half. And I didn't mention this in any of the posts and stuff, and I probably should have, but I think it's important for you to know, like, I don't gain financially from talking with you about Carl's work. When you purchase his Serene New You Sax, I don't profit. I do it first and foremost to help you, and second to help a friend. So I am really inspired by who Carl is in this world, how he shows up, and just his genius, his unique genius. My goodness, when God created his soul, he created a man who my opinion of him, he has a true sense of humility, right? And that he's comfortable in his genius. He's comfortable in his God-given gift, and he shares it so beautifully. It's really, really impressive. So, I recently did an interview with him, this follow-up interview. We did an interview a year ago when he first launched Serene New You Sax. And, that was a huge, huge, huge transition for him because he's very well known in the jazz and R&B world. And he saw that as big a following as he had, as popular as he was, as exciting his career was, he wanted to do more in terms of helping people not just to, tap the toe and bob their heads and, enjoy jazz or R&B, but he knew for a long time that music can be healing, can be deeply healing, profoundly healing. So he started doing a lot of research into it, about more than a year's worth of in-depth research, and then he started to experiment with using primarily his sax to create what he has coined. I believe he's coined the term restorative relaxation music. It's not easy listening. It's not smooth jazz, cool jazz, chill out jazz. There's science behind the beauty. There's science that backs up the why I feel the way I feel when I listen to it. So there's a link in the show notes to this video, to this live. If you're with me live, just click the show notes. I believe it says Seymour. Click the link and check it out. I mean, it's a very, very, very small investment in terms of the gain that you will receive. You have to. It's interesting because only I can heal myself, and yet there's some amazing tools, right? Source-energy-medicine, amazing tool. Serene New You Sax is an amazing tool, but I have to employ it, right? I have to practice it. I have to use it, and some things that I explore, continue to explore, takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of work, takes a lot of diligence and scheduling and stuff. 28-day celery juice cleanse, things like that. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of planning and prep. But to listen to Serene New You Sax is such an indulgence. It really like I am interested in so many things. My days are overflowing schedule wise, and yet carving out time to really allow myself that restorative relaxation time is just absolutely precious, and it's I think it's essential these days. It's essential pre-COVID, but it's absolutely essential these days because it's not just COVID that we're dealing with globally. Social injustices continue to be part of our reality, and God, I hope that ends very, very quickly. Economic instability. There's still a lot of folks who are out of jobs, and there are a lot of folks who are having a hard time hiring people. Right? They can't find people who are willing to work. So it's a crazy place in a lot of ways. And think about what's going on in Afghanistan and just globally. We seem to have think about cause and effect. Right? There's been so much cause that has led to all of what we're experiencing, right? Crazy weather patterns. So I love that we have the opportunity to gather here, on YouTube of all places, to unplug from all of that and to have, I first created SEM Mondays as an opportunity for those who are not participating in our online workshops to have a venue where you can ask me questions, live and in real time. And if you ever have questions and you're not able to join me live, just send me an email. My direct email is always in the show notes. And since COVID, I have extended, it used to be an 11-minute format. I've extended it quite extensively to allow for more time for Q&A because there seems to be more things that folks want to talk about. And I have been including a group energy healing session to be able to support you during this pandemic, during this crisis that we're experiencing, in so many different ways. So, first part of our time together today is the Q&A part, and I really wanted to talk a bit more about my friend Carl and Serene New You Sax and make sure. So one thing I totally neglected to mention is Carl is also very, very kind and thoughtful and generous, and he is offering a 20% discount to folks within the Source Energy Medicine community. So when you click that link, put in your email, you'll receive a 20% discount. And that offer ends today, right? Yesterday was National Relaxation Day. That was his big launch day. And he's having 2 days so that his, hopefully, all of his platforms are holding up well. And but to give folks an ample opportunity because it was a Sunday that it was, National Relaxation Day. Not everyone's opening emails on Sundays. So make sure you take advantage of that very generous 20% discount. I mean, it's the investment, I think, is worth like 200 times what Carl asks, and even at 200 times the investment, it would still be very, very, very well worth every penny, at least from where I stand. So thank you for the beautiful emojis and for the kind words. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Very, very cool to gosh, there's so much that we can talk about here on SEM Mondays, and yet I try and keep things very, very basic, right? Just the what you need to know really to take your next step with Source Energy Medicine. And I know a lot of folks who show up on SEM Mondays have been through all of our online workshops, and they simply join us for the community and for the group energy healing session. There are a lot of people in our community who have used the replays from SEM Mondays, specifically the energy healing session, as just to watch it, one of the replays once or twice or 3 times a day to help them, right? To help to mitigate, really, from a Source Energy Medicine perspective, we would be transforming stress, right? We transform fear, we transform pathogens, we transform anything that would not help and support my health and your health. We simply transform it vibrationally speaking, right, energetically speaking, from slow energy to fast energy, if you will. We could talk about it in terms of calibrated energy, but that takes the conversation to a more complex level. But if you take the time to read my book, Heal Thyself, you'd understand all of that. You'd understand the Hawkins scale, and you'd understand how we calibrate energy and why that's important. There certainly are some videos on our YouTube channel where I talk about calibrated energy in pretty good detail, so you could check those out also. And if you're not familiar with the energy healing component of source energy medicine, it's known as the non-material aspect of source energy medicine. And there too, there's videos in our free course. It's known as the Source Energy Medicine Quick Start Guide. Always a link in the show notes where you can sign up for that. It's free, it's extensive, and it includes everything that's essential to your journey with source energy medicine. Complete charging label file is there. All you have to do is download it. I think there's 16 modules in all. Most of them have videos and a bunch of different supportive material. So I don't have any questions that came in from the various ways that questions make their way to me, and I don't see anything in the chat. So let's just get to the fun part. Let's just get to the energy healing part. A couple of things that are very important, I think, for you to know. I always like to invite you to think about what it is that you would like to receive, what it is that you'd like to work on, if you will. And I love the teaching from A Course in Miracles, which basically states there is no order of difficulty when it comes to miracles. So a lot of folks who are new think, well, I'll start with something small and work my way up to the bigger stuff. And I think that comes from a misperception of who's doing the healing, right? So it's really, really, really important for you to know it's definitely not me, and it is always, always, always you. And that's true whether you're going to an allopathic physician, you're going to an orthopedic surgeon, you're going to somebody to explore what we would characterize as mental or emotional work. It's true in every regard. You are always the one that is indeed healing yourself, and you're always the one that's setting the pace, right? You are ultimately responsible for your outcome, right? For your experience, for your results. And there's a lot of things that go into determining what I experience, right? What I experience when I explore any approach to healing. And there's a video in the Quick Start Guide where I talk about this in very, very good depth. And, you know, it's one of my favorite videos that we've ever produced. And yet, I think for a lot of people, it tends to, I'll just say it pisses a lot of people off. And why does it piss a lot of people off? Because it's harsh in terms of the truth. And it pissed me off when I learned all of these things because I spent numerous years and countless $1,000s trying to heal myself. And to a large degree, I was creating all of the resistance. And all that resistance was subconscious, right? I didn't do anything. Like, consciously, I could not have been more active and more engaged and more proactive. I explored so many different things and traveled constantly. And yet there was so much subconscious resistance that made it a struggle, right, at best. So when I realized all of these different things that go into what determines my experience when I am intentionally exploring healing, it was much easier to blame somebody else, right? Blame a practitioner, blame a methodology, blame my genes, which was a big blame for me. I certainly pointed the finger pretty sternly at my genes, right? There's like that momentary piss off, and then there's freedom, right? There's huge freedom because if I'm creating the resistance, then I can do something about it, right? If I'm not creating the resistance, then I'm a victim, and I'm at the mercy of some external force, whether it's God or the government or the medical system, right? I am at the mercy of a source that's external to me. There's not much I can do about it. But if I am indeed the one responsible for my experience, and I am miscreating unconsciously, then the work of beginning to create consciously, to me, is A, very exciting, and B, it's very freeing. It's very liberating. Tough to take at the onset of the awareness, but ultimately, it's one of the things where I haven't had a cold or a flu or anything. None of the signs or symptoms of any of the really serious challenges that I had before Source Energy Medicine, like nothing since 2005. And I talk about this a lot in the Emergency Preparedness Masterclass, where we do each indeed create our own reality, and yet there's a collective reality that we experience, right? So I can't control everything, or I'm not responsible, I should say, probably more accurately, rather than control. I'm not responsible through primarily cause and effect, right? The law of attraction at its finest. I can't control everything, but it gives me a tremendous amount of peace and empowerment, knowing whatever happens, I have all of the tools, I have all of the processes, I have all of the hacks, right? All of the tricks that I can employ, and I have an amazing community to support me, right? And it's true for you too, right? So, those who have explored the masterclass, have so many amazing tools, and yes, the sessions that I offer on SEM Mondays are focused on the things like I can't do everything that I do on SEM Mondays that I do when I work one-on-one with a client in a private session. But I can offer the things that are the most important to your physical health and well-being, right? And so it's it's crazy because we as humans have taken a perfectly beautiful system, right? Our physiological system was designed to be self-balancing, self-healing, and self-correcting. And I knew that long before Source Energy Medicine, in spite of having no evidence, right? I didn't know anybody who that was true for, and yet I knew enough about our physiology. I knew enough about anatomy. I knew enough about biology that our body should be self-balancing, self-healing, and self-correcting. And then it's the human part of us, right, that really gets in the way and really fouls up a beautifully designed system to the point where there's massive imbalance, there's dis-ease. We have epidemic proportions of more dis-ease today than ever before as humans. And it seems to be getting worse, right? So I've been saying for so long now, a year and a half, really, the vaccine is not the answer, and it might be a short term, something helpful for some people, and yet long term, it's really not the answer. It really so is not the answer. They cannot manufacture viruses, or they can't manufacture vaccines fast enough to keep up with the mutation of viruses. Viruses will mutate way faster than the most sophisticated technology in the most sophisticated labs in the world. And that, viruses are part of life. Viruses have been with us for tens of thousands of years, if not hundreds of thousands of years. And they are a part of life, right? They are a part of life. And what determines whether, a virus creates symptoms or not is really what Source Energy Medicine is all about, right? So, I'm highly confident that, there was a Dr. Zach Bush. I was watching one of his videos not long ago where he talks about a study where they took 8,000 relatively healthy people, and by that they mean no signs or symptoms, and they were all like hit a standard they were looking for. So no medications, no morbid obesity, no signs or symptoms of any challenges. And he took blood work from 8,000 people who were quote unquote healthy, no signs or symptoms, no medications, no known illnesses or ailments, and they drew blood from them, and the amount of viruses that they found in these 8,000 healthy people was alarming to an uneducated person, right? There was HIV in there. There was hepatitis C in there. There was numerous SARS-CoV viruses, right? There were just countless viruses, which I think really illustrates the point magnificently that viruses are part of life, right? They're in us all. The only question is, what do they do when they're in us, right? How is our body able to be while that's true, right? And, it wasn't up until not that long ago that we waged a war against all bacteria because we thought bacteria was the bad guy. And now we know that without bacteria, life is really hard for humans. And there's a lot of really good research these days in the microbiome, and the microbiome is really the study of all of these bacteria. There are friendly bacteria and unfriendly bacteria, and the difference between the two is a matter of energetic calibration, right? So, I hope all of that makes sense, and ultimately, to me, the difference between having a virus in my system and staying healthy has to do with the calibration of the physical aspect of my being. It's that simple. And to a lot of people, it's too simple an answer. And I refuse to make it more complicated, right? There are 30 components to your overall health and well-being, and the calibration of the physical aspect is the most important factor, right? It's the calibration of every aspect of our being that to a large degree. I mean, that's the cause. And then what shows up is the effect. We can't separate cause and effect, right? When the physical, before source energy medicine, the calibration of the physical aspect of my being was really low. And that's why I had all of the challenges that I had. The ones that ran in my family, right? The ones that were believed to be in my DNA, as well as the ones that were believed to be acquired, right? So, that might be a little bit more sophisticated or a little bit deeper a conversation than I often explore on SEM Mondays, and yet I think this is vitally important for you to know. And, I think there's a tremendous amount of empowerment that comes from understanding all of this, right? It's not that complicated, and the tools are free, right? The charging labels are free. I offer the energy healing session here for free as a way to be able to support you, and if anything, to help to shorten your overall process, right? But even though I haven't worked on any challenges since 2004, I'm not done healing, right? There's still stuff, right? There's still parts of my personality. There's still parts of my past that I'm still continuing to work on, right? So I believe that I will be constantly exploring healing in one way or another, meaning in one area of my life or another, forever, right? I think even though the balanced source energy medicines are some of my favorite, and I think the most overall helpful, I think balance to a large degree is I wish I could go back in time and call them harmony source energy medicines, and I energetically tested for what to name them, and balance was it, right? So I think balance is impossible on people who strive for balance. I think it just adds to the whole anxiety equation. But harmony, right? Wherever all of the parts are, it's working, right? It is serving me. And they might not all be in exact vibrational alignment, but they're close, right? And it's as if you took 20 people in a choir, and when they all expressed themselves vocally, it was beautiful, right? It was all in harmony. It was all in sync, if you will, right? It was all tonally speaking, it all would be very pleasant to the ears. And when things are out of harmony, it's not pleasant, right? And that's the same is true for our being as well as a 20-person choir. So I'm going to go ahead and get things set up for our energy healing session. So if you're totally new, don't understand about the energy healing, completely safe, no possibility of catharsis or re-stimulating any kind of past trauma. When we're working on whether it's an emotion or a pathogen, we're not stirring it up. That then we have to process or have our excretory system deal with to try and eliminate. We're simply transforming energy, right? We're transforming darkness into light, and it literally is as fast and as graceful as going into a dark room and turning on a light switch. In terms of your receptivity, I think folks over the years have realized that no distractions. A lot of people like to lie down and close their eyes. So if that's comfortable and it feels safe and you're in an appropriate environment to do that, please just try that on, right? See how that works. And if you're not, then you can always come back and check out the replay. The replays have very, very, very similar, and I say very similar because I'm choosing my words carefully. There are a lot of people who think they have greater potential than the lives. And I don't know if that's true. It's like really splitting hairs, right? In that the potential does seem to grow. It does seem to expand. In other words, the fourth time I watch a replay of the very same SEM Mondays, somehow it seems more potent, right? More potential. There's more possibility in that fourth time than the first time. And, there's so many factors that go into it. It gets very complicated to think about, and certainly not worth taking the time to explore that now. But I think it's interesting to consider, and yet, my firm belief is all of the potential is right here. It's right now. It's in this present moment. And that's why turning off all of your distractions and allowing yourself to be fully present and just experience this, right? Honor the healing process, honor the journey, all of the steps that it took to get you to this point in time. To take yourself out of this moment seems criminal to me in a lot of ways. So go ahead and get nice and comfortable. I invite you to think about what it is that you would like to receive. And again, think big. Think, what's the thing that is, it keeps you up at night, right? It interrupts your sleep or has you waking up in the morning with a, feeling of anxiety in the pit of your stomach or nausea or just not really wanting to get out of bed in the morning. Like think about that thing. I turn my camera off. There's chanting in the background. God willing, YouTube always doesn't work, technically speaking, with YouTube, but it hopefully will be chanting in the background. It has nothing to do with the work. It's just so that you know that something's going on. The session's still going on. The broadcast is still live, and it'll likely be about 5 minutes or so. It is phenomenally fast. The non-material aspect of source energy medicine is absolutely the fastest, the quickest, the most direct way for me to be able to, really for you to be able to experience source energy medicine technology. So I invite you to continue to get nice and comfortable. So, my friends, I do indeed hope that was very, very helpful for you. If your eyes are closed, please go ahead and slowly blink them open and come on back to here and now in this time-space reality and SEM Mondays live on YouTube. Yes, indeedy, I do hope that was deeply transformative for you. I hope that was very, very, very not just peaceful and quiet and serene and just meditative-like space, but I do indeed hope that was helpful to you on your journey. And remember, actually now would be a really good time for you. There's a link to Serene New You Sax. Today is the last day to take advantage of Carl's very generous 20% discount on his restorative relaxation music. I think, my gosh, it would be such a phenomenal complement to your journey with Source Energy Medicine. And if you haven't watched that interview, check it out. He's a lovely young man and just, gosh, so gifted, so talented, such a beautiful heart. And the world is absolutely a much, much, much brighter, more beautiful place because of not only him being in it, but the way he shows up in this world. So, God willing, I will see you here again next Monday for another installment of SEM Mondays. Between now and then, stay connected in whatever Source Energy Medicine communities you're involved in. You could join our private Facebook group. Certainly have online classes and master classes. Most of them are linked, or so there's some information in the show notes, so you could always click the link. And if you're totally new to Source Energy Medicine, you have to start with the Quick Start Guide. It's free. It's an amazing introduction, way beyond really an introduction. It's an in-depth. It's everything that's essential to your journey with Source Energy Medicine. So, link to that is always in the show notes. So, stay connected. Be kind, be gracious, be patient, especially when others are disagreeing or being mean, nasty, angry, confrontational. Just take some deep breaths and have some patience and recognize that in that instance, they're forgetting their divinity. They're having an insane moment, as A Course in Miracles would describe it. They don't know how to be love and get their needs met. And the proper response for us is always love. The only thing there ever is for us to do is to extend and receive love, and that's it. And once enough of us get that, then talk about radical change, radical shifts in global human consciousness. There will be no more wars, no more homeless, no more hungry children, and ultimately no more dis-ease. As always, I wish you continued blessings on your journey with Source Energy Medicine. Bye for now.